My name is Laura. I'm 29, and I got the text at 11:43 p.m. on a Thursday. My boyfriend, Nathan, 27, and I had been together for 4 years, living together for 2. She texted, "I need space. Don't call. Don't text. Don't exist." For a while I wrote back, "Done." Then I gave her permanent space by returning every gift she'd ever given me to her doorstep. Her mother's call asking why 40 boxes were blocking their driveway. The message was cold, clinical. "I need space. Don't call. Don't text. Don't exist for a while. I'll reach out when I'm ready to talk." No context, no explanation. We'd had dinner together 6 hours earlier. He kissed me goodbye when I left for my night shift at the warehouse. Everything seemed normal. I stared at my phone in the break room, read it 3 times. My coworker, Denise, asked if I was okay. I showed her the text. "Damn, girl, that's harsh." "Yeah, it was." I typed back one word, "Done." Then I went back to work, finished my shift, drove home at 7 o'clock a.m. to an empty apartment. His overnight bag was gone, some clothes missing from the closet, his toothbrush gone from the bathroom. He'd planned this, packed while I was at work, sent the text knowing I couldn't come home to talk. I sat on our couch, well, my couch that he'd picked out, and looked around. 4 years of relationship scattered everywhere. Picture frames, his books mixed with mine on the shelves, the throw pillows he insisted we needed, the coffee maker he bought me for my birthday, the gaming headset he got me for Christmas, the watch he gave me for our anniversary. Everything had his fingerprints on it. He wanted space. He wanted me to not exist. All right. Then I started in the living room. The throw pillows went into a box. The picture frames, every single one with us in it, into another box. The books he'd given me. The vinyl records he'd surprised me with. The houseplants he'd picked out. All of it. Box after box after box. The bedroom was harder, the cologne I liked. The dress shirts he'd bought because I needed to dress better for date nights. The cufflinks. The ties. The leather jacket for my birthday last year that I actually loved, but it was from him. I found stuff I'd forgotten about. Movie ticket stubs he'd saved and framed. A journal he'd given me that I'd never used. Concert tickets he'd surprised me with. Gift cards still in their little celebration envelopes. Even found the coupon book he'd made me for Valentine's Day 3 years ago. Good for one back massage, free pass to pick the movie, breakfast in bed. Never used a single one because we always joked we'd save them for when we really needed them. By noon, I had 27 boxes packed. But I wasn't done. I went through my phone, screenshots of every sweet text he'd sent over the years, talking about our future, our plans, the house we'd buy, the kids we'd have, the trips we'd take. Printed them all out on my crappy printer. 4 years of promises, 186 pages. Put that in a box, too. Then I went through my closet again. Found the memory box he'd made us keep. Ticket stubs, wristbands from festivals, pressed flowers from our first date, the cork from the wine bottle when he said, "I love you," for the first time. Box number 35. The kitchen was last. The matching mugs with our initials. The apron that said, "Kiss the cook." He'd gotten as a joke. The expensive knife set he bought because I mentioned once that I liked cooking. The spice rack he'd organized with little labels. 40 boxes total. I loaded them all into my truck and the trailer I borrowed from Denise. Drove to his parents' house where I knew he was staying. They lived in one of those suburban neighborhoods with long driveways. 4:30 p.m. I knew his dad would be at work. His mom would be home. Nathan would probably be there too, working from home on his laptop, enjoying his space. I backed the trailer up to their driveway and started unloading box by box, stacked them neat and organized, completely blocking the driveway from garage to street. 3 boxes wide, multiple rows deep, a wall of cardboard. On the very last box, I taped a note. "You wanted space. Here's everything that connected us. Now you have infinite space, your non-existent ex." I was pulling away when I saw his mom come out the front door, mouth open in shock. My phone started ringing before I even turned the corner. His mom declined. Then Nathan declined. His mom again. This time I answered, "What is the meaning of this?" His mom, Deb, screeched. "Hi, Deb," Nathan said. He asked for space and for me to not exist for a while. I'm simply returning his belongings and giving him what he asked for, I said. These aren't his belongings. This is all stuff I gave you, Nathan's voice in the background. Yeah, and they're reminders of you. You don't want me to exist, remember? Hard to not exist when your stuff is everywhere in my place. You're being ridiculous. Get back here and move these boxes. I can't get my car out. That sounds like a you problem. I don't exist, remember? Ghosts can't move boxes. I hung up. 47. Missed calls by the time I got home. Yeah, I know. Specific number. I counted because it was funny. Text from him, his mom, his sister Becca, his best friend Jenna. All variations of, you're being childish. This is petty. Move the boxes now. We're calling the police. You're insane. I responded to exactly none of them. He wanted space. He wanted me to not exist. I was just following instructions. 2 days later, the entitlement started almost immediately. Day 1, after the Great Box Wall incident, I woke up to someone banging on my apartment door at 6:00 a.m. through the peephole. Nathan's dad, Robert. Now, Robert's a big dude, works construction, always tried to intimidate me with his handshake when we first met. I opened the door, but kept the chain on. You're going to move those boxes today, he said like it was a fact. No, I'm not. Listen here, Robert. Those are gifts Nathan gave me. I'm returning them because he wants space. They're on your property now. Your problem. He's devastated. You humiliated him. He texted me to not exist. I'm actually not even having this conversation because I don't exist. His face went red. I'll move them myself and dump them on your doorstep. Please do. I'll call the police for illegal dumping. I have proof they're all items he gave me. I returned his property to his residence. What you do with them is your business. He actually raised his fist. I just stood there. Go ahead, Robert. Hit me. I'll press charges and you'll get arrested for assault. Great look for your construction business. He lowered his fist and stormed off. 2 hours later, the apartment management called. They'd received a complaint about abandoned property in my unit and hoarding behavior. Ma'am, I just did a massive declutter. My apartment is cleaner than it's been in years. The manager was confused, but said she had to investigate. She came by, saw my spotless apartment, and left shaking her head. That afternoon, I got a text from an unknown number, Nathan's sister, Becca, using someone else's phone. You need to know that Nathan only asked for space because he was confused. Natalie from his work has been pursuing him, and he needed time to think. She just pushed him right into her arms with this stunt. Natalie from his work, the one Nathan always said was annoying and wouldn't take a hint. So he needed space to figure out if he wanted to be with Natalie. Cool. Space granted permanently. I screenshotted that text, didn't respond. Then came the social media explosion. Nathan posted this long thing about how some people can't handle mature communication, and when you ask for time to process trauma and get abused instead. Trauma? What trauma? We'd been fine. No fights, no issues, unless considering Natalie's advances was traumatic. His friends piled on, comments about toxic masculinity and emotional manipulation. And this is why men are scared to leave. To leave. He asked for space, not a breakup. But apparently now it was leaving. The narrative kept changing. My buddy Denise screenshot everything and sent it to me. Girl, he's rewriting history. But here's where it gets good. Remember those 186 pages of text I printed out? Where Nathan talked about our future, our wedding plans, how he wanted to grow old with me, how he never felt so secure with anyone. I scanned them all, made a neat little PDF, then posted it on my social media with the caption, Since we're sharing our truth, here's mine. 4 years of promises versus one text asking me to not exist. I gave him the space he wanted. Now I'm being called abusive for respecting his wishes. Make it make sense. The comments exploded. People who'd been attacking me started deleting their comments. Nathan's post disappeared within an hour, but he wasn't done. That evening, around 8:00 p.m., police knocked on my door. 2 officers, looking tired and annoyed. Ma'am, we got a call about stolen property. I laughed. Actually laughed. Officers, let me guess, about 40 boxes worth? They exchanged glances. Yes, actually. I showed them my phone, the photos I'd taken of every single gift before boxing them, receipts he'd sent me over the years. Look what I got you texts. The original I need space, don't exist text. His sister's text about Natalie. So he gave you these gifts, told you to not exist, And you returned the gifts to him? Exactly. The older officer sighed. Ma'am, he said into his radio, the items were gifts given to him. He returned them to his property. This is a civil matter, not criminal. We're leaving. I heard screeching through the radio. The officers looked at each other with that, "We don't get paid enough for this" expression. After they left, I checked my security camera app. Nathan's car was outside, him sitting in it, waiting for what? For me to come out and beg him to come back. He sat there for 2 hours. I made dinner, watched Netflix, lived my life. He wanted me to not exist, but there he was, existing in my parking lot. Eventually, he left. 1 week later, the extinction burst. Yeah, I learned the term from Reddit. It was spectacular. It started with the boxes still in their driveway. Apparently, they tried to throw them away, but the garbage company wouldn't take that many. They'd have to make multiple trips to the dump, which cost money and effort. So the boxes just sat there, getting wet when it rained. Neighbors started to complain. Nathan showed up at my work. The warehouse has strict security. You need a badge to get in. He stood at the gate for an hour, telling the security guard he was my boyfriend and there was an emergency. Gary, the guard, called me. There's a man here who says he's your boyfriend, he said. I don't have a boyfriend, Gary. That's what I thought. He's making a scene, though. That's unfortunate. If he doesn't leave, maybe call the actual police. He left when Gary started dialing. Then came the financial threats. Over 4 years, Nathan had probably spent, I don't know, maybe $8,000 on gifts for me. He wanted it all back, every penny. He sent me an itemized list through his friend Jenna's Instagram. Leather jacket, $600. Gaming headset, $300. Watch, $200. Coffee maker, $400. On and on. 47 items. There's that number again. Swear I'm not making it up. At the bottom, total owed $8,470. Payment expected within 7 days or legal action would be taken. Legal action, right? I forwarded it to my cousin, who's a paralegal. She laughed for 5 straight minutes. Gifts don't work that way. He'd get laughed out of court. But Nathan wasn't done. Oh no. This is where the real entitlement came out. He started calling my mom. My mom lives 3 states away. They'd met maybe 5 times total, but Nathan found her number and called her crying about how I was destroying his life and being vindictive, and how he just needed time to think. My mom, bless her, listened patiently, then said, "Sweetheart, you told my daughter to not exist. She's simply honoring your request. What did you expect? That she'd wait around like a puppy while you figured out if you wanted someone else? It's not like that." I wasn't. I just needed space. Space from what? From a woman who loved me, supported me, helped me through my mom's surgery last year. That kind of space. Nathan hung up on my mom. My mom? The audacity. But the peak entitlement came that Thursday. I got home from work to find my apartment door slightly open. Lock wasn't broken, but the door was cracked. I carefully pushed it open. Everything was ransacked. Drawers pulled out, closets emptied, cushions flipped. At first I thought I'd been robbed. Then I noticed nothing valuable was missing. My TV, PlayStation, laptop, all still there. But other things were gone. The spare coffee maker from the pantry, not a gift from him, one I'd bought myself, some of my hoodies he used to wear, my favorite mug that he'd claimed was ours, random stuff that had no value except sentimental. I checked my security camera footage. There he was, 2 p.m., using his old key. Apparently, I'd never changed the locks because I'm an idiot, going through everything like a scavenger hunt, taking things that weren't even his. I called the police immediately, filed a report for breaking and entering. He wasn't a resident anymore, trespassing and theft. The officer who came was actually one from the previous week. Your ex again? Yep. You got footage? Crystal clear. Press charges? Absolutely. They arrested him that night. He was released on bail the next morning. Daddy Robert to the rescue, but the charges stuck. The prosecutor's office said it was clear-cut. He entered a residence he didn't live in without permission and stole items. His lawyer actually got one, tried to argue he still had residency rights, but I had texts from him saying he'd moved out, his forwarded mail, his "I need space" text, basically admitting he'd left. Final update, 3 weeks later. The legal stuff moved faster than expected. Nathan's lawyer convinced him to take a plea deal, misdemeanor, trespassing, probation, and a restraining order that went both ways. He couldn't contact me. I couldn't contact him. perfect. The trash took itself out. But the aftermath, that's where the real entitlement showed. His mom, Deb, started a campaign to destroy me. Called my employer claiming I was dangerous and unstable. HR had to investigate. I showed them everything, texts, videos, police reports. They concluded I was the victim and warned that if the harassment continued, they'd pursue legal action against the caller. Robert tried the tough guy act one more time. Showed up at Denise's house because he couldn't come to mine. Restraining order extends to family members acting on his behalf. Denise is 6 foot before and does MMA for fun. Robert left quickly. Nathan's friends launched a support campaign on social media, trying to raise money for his legal fees because he was abused and traumatized. It raised $127 before someone reported it for fraud and it got taken down. But here's the kicker. Becca, the sister, reached out through a mutual friend. Not to apologize or anything reasonable. No, she wanted to know if I still had the coupon book because Nathan wanted it back for sentimental reasons. The coupon book he made me as a gift that was now evidence in a criminal case. I didn't respond. 2 weeks ago, I ran into Natalie at a gas station. Yeah, Natalie from his work. The one Nathan needed space to think about. She looked uncomfortable, tried to walk past me. "How's that working out for you?" I asked. She stopped. "Look, I didn't know you two were still together. We were living together 4 years. He had his stuff at your place. He told me you were broken up, that you were stalking him, that he was scared of you." I showed her the "I need space" text, the date, the timeline. Her face went pale. She moved in with me last week. Told me you'd been abusive. That's why she needed somewhere safe to stay. Moved in already? Yeah, her and all her boxes. The boxes. She made Natalie deal with the 40 boxes of returned gifts. I couldn't help it. I laughed. Full-on belly laughed. Natalie looked confused, then angry, then defeated. She played me too, didn't she? No, girl, she played herself. Small-town gossip later revealed that Natalie kicked Nathan out 3 days later when she found him texting another coworker about needing space to think about their relationship, a clear pattern. As for me, I'm doing okay. Not great, not terrible, just okay. 4 years is a long time to just ride off. But you know what I have now? Space. Actual space. My apartment is mine. My time is mine. My hoodies, well, those are gone, but I bought new ones. Changed my locks finally. Deleted social media for a while. Started playing guitar again. Something I'd stopped because Nathan said it was too loud. My mom calls weekly to check on me. Denise and I started a bowling league. We're terrible, but who cares? My cousin, the paralegal, says Nathan's got no grounds to sue for anything, and if he tries, will countersue for harassment. The best part, the absolute best part, last week, the 40 boxes were still in Robert and Deb's driveway, wet, moldy, falling apart. The HOA sent them a notice about unsightly property violations, $50 per day fine until removed. Nathan wanted space. I gave him exactly what he asked for, plus 40 boxes of reminders that you can't just put people on pause while you shop around for something better. He texted from a friend's phone yesterday. "I hope you're happy ruining my life." I didn't respond. I don't exist, remember? And honestly, yeah, I'm getting there. Happy. I mean, it's a process, but at least it's my process in my space, on my terms. The leather jacket, though, I do miss that jacket. It was really nice.